It's Friday. Whoop-de-doo. We're back. Hello, Tony.
It is. Hello, Nick. How are you? How are you? How have you
I am
been?
living the dream, loving the day, and tripping the light. Fantastic. How the devil are you?
Wow, I don't think I'm quite that good, but I'm good. I'm good. Um, yeah, really good, really good. It's rather warm here today in South Yorkshire.
Yes.
It's lovely. It can stay like this for a while.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, we're
It
having a
does seem to be
Barbie.
turning.
We're having a
Oh,
Barbie later, I believe. So that'll be
wow.
nice. That'll be nice. So
Abs-
yeah, nice to see the comments starting to warm up.
Yes, absolutely. Please say hello, join in. It's your show. Get involved, share the love, and say what you're feeling because it's time to start spirit lining it. Um,
Spiritline.
I, here we
Kazzy,
go.
you would be more than welcome. More than welcome.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, we're having a barbecue tomorrow. So
Very
hopefully the
nice.
rain will have stopped because it's been spitting a rain here, as Mother has just pointed out.
We had a little bit. We had a little bit, but then the sun came out and we thought, oh, we'll risk it for a biscuit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone's saying hello, so let's say hello. Obviously, there's this guy, he said hello.
He
I
did, he
think
did, yeah.
I think I know him. I think I know him. I think we've met a
He's a
couple of times.
nuisance. He turns up everywhere.
I
Everywhere I
know,
go, he seems to be there.
I know. He's good fun though. He is good
He
fun.
is, he is. And we've got your
Uh,
mom
Hello, mother. And then we got the lovely Dawny. Hi, babe.
and Trace.
Hi,
Hi,
Trace. Well,
Trace.
well played. Well played. And the lovely Jen. We were just talking about you, and yes, it was all good.
It was, it was.
There we
Christine, hello. Good afternoon to you too, my dear.
jumped over onto YouTube there. Good to see you, Christine.
Mm.
The lovely Kazza, of course, who wants to join your barbecue.
Yep, yep.
Your
And your
mum says
mom,
we don't
of
know.
course. Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hello, sweetie. She's sneaking on. Well, she can, you see.
Yeah. Stopping at mine tonight. Okay, we've got a spare room. Got a spare room.
There
More than
we go.
welcome. You're more than welcome.
Absolutely. And Justine Molyneux. Hi, good to see you.
Hello.
Interestingly enough, that's not the first person I know with that surname. You'd think, being such a wonderfully beautiful surname and
Yeah.
so unlike Nick Brown, you'd think that that was quite a rare surname. But I actually know someone who is a medium with that surname.
Wow.
So there you go. I don't know whether
There
you're
we go.
related, Justine, but there is a medium out there with your surname.
Oh, and Sharon Calladine.
Hi, Sharon.
Hello from us too. Would that be Eunice and Tony, do you think?
It might be. If it is, hello, Eunice and Tony. If it's not, let us know who you are. We can see who you
Yeah.
are.
Oh, and hello,
Ah,
Leslie.
hi,
Well
Leslie.
done Monday night, dear. Leslie worked with me at me and Jean at the pub with Nicola.
Oh,
Raised
wow.
£206 for the Rainbow Project. Yay!
Yay.
Thank you everybody who turned up at if you're watching, turned up at the Gallows pub.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone last week for sending the healing.
Yes. Oh, Justine says that's really interesting.
Yes. So obviously not related, or maybe, but just at a distance and don't know each other. You know what families can be like. And it is by mum's identification. It is,
It
of
is
course,
Eunice and
Tony.
Tony.
Who've had
Fabulous.
who've had a couple of orders for the
Have
t-shirt.
they?
Yes,
Amazing.
I've got your tracking number, so it won't get lost because I will hunt them down.
Okay, thank you.
Is on the way. Lovely Nicola, my namesake.
Yes. I was just singing your praises for Monday night, Nicola. You and Leslie did really, really well. Really well. Oh, yeah.
I think
So,
it is a time about praising. We don't praise enough.
No, no, we don't. We don't. Tony's ordered one. There you
Yeah,
go.
deserved.
Yeah. Kazar.
And there's another, and I know. Shelley ordered one as well, so that's now 3. Tony, other Tony,
Fabulous.
obviously.
Yeah,
So yeah, so yeah. Nicholas says that Monday was good fun.
it was. It was a lovely crowd. Lovely crowd.
Brilliant.
And it's isn't isn't it strange? And I said this to Nicola because Nicola hadn't done a venue like that before. And I said, you will feel the difference between that and a church, between a pub setting and a church.
Oh yeah,
It's really different.
it
What's
is.
these t-shirts? Yeah, it's really different. The energy just feels really different, and the way the messages come through are really different.
Yeah, they
Um,
are.
and I find myself being more over the top, and even more over the top than I am.
Yes. Now I don't know whether Alan's watching, Reverend Alan, of course. I think Adie's busy this week, so we might not see him. But if anyone is watching, when I went up to up closer to you than I am now, when I went to
Oh,
serve in Skegness, that was in a pub, and it's a long time since I've served in a pub, and it was really, really different, and it was remindably so.
mm,
Because it's all to do. Hang on. Because it's all to do with the location in which you're working.
I
It's all
think
to
she
do with
means
the
me being
vibration.
more over the top.
Oh, so and they're all. See, I was being nice. I didn't
You were
instantly assume.
explaining about how it's the location and the energies of the people
Yeah,
in the room, and yeah, no, Claire means how can I be more over the top than this? But I am, yes.
yes,
Oh,
and wow, yes, that is in the pipeline as well. The
oh,
meditating guy,
you
that
mean him?
meditating guy, but in the logo.
Him
Uh,
behind you there, yeah. Mm.
I'm thinking about one like that and the actual logo as well, but I've got to talk to Tony and Eunice first.
Mm.
Um,
And
but
Justine,
yes,
of course, asks, "What's these T-shirts?"
so there is a link on our group page and everywhere else that can take you to having a T-shirt. Just in case, I had it ready with the Spiritline logo on it.
Look at that! No, that way. Amazing, amazing.
There we go. Lovely, lovely, lovely T-shirt made by Suffolk Insignia, and they are amazing bobs, and really, really excited. Everyone was asking for them, so we made arrangements. So there is a link on the group page. That is at facebook.com/groups/2 Revs. I will share it afterwards as well. If
Mm.
anyone wants them, there is a link to that. You can search on the internet for Suffolk Insignia, and in their menu it says Spiritline, and you can order directly from there as well. Just a bit of fun, a bit of a giggle,
Yeah,
but it
we
also
get
helps build a community.
it does, and we get nothing from it. We get
No,
nothing from it. It all goes to Suffolk Insignia.
and that's why it's so reasonably priced,
Yeah, yeah,
um,
but it's
and
brilliant.
it's such fun. It's such
Yeah,
fun. There we go. It's all starting to flow.
yeah.
And
It's all
hello
good
to
fun.
Mario.
Hi,
Hello to
Mario.
Mario.
You're still in my book, still sending healing, matey.
Excellent stuff, and
Yeah.
mine too. So yes, I think there is always a risk, and I don't want to bring it down. I want to bring it up, but there's always a risk of when you have T-shirts and things where it creates an exclusionary club, and that is
Mm.
always a risk in this world. But because it's everybody wanted it, rather than us saying, here, come and get it, or you can
Yeah,
be
yeah.
part of our club and whether because everyone wants theirs rather than us saying, here it is, it creates a bit of fun and a bit of a giggle. It's not taken too seriously. And that is really, really important, because I think there is a hello. I think there is a risk in this world that we feel we have to be part of something, but it's so serious. So when you feel you can be part of something that is funny, uplifting, a bit of a giggle, I think it has all that more impact. I mean, certainly I know you'll have your thoughts. Everyone else at home, your thoughts, you know.
Yeah, please come into it.
You know, I think
is,
especially in this world as we are right now, generally.
Yeah, I think when okay, yeah, thank you. The churching in my ear. It's a case of sometimes in settings like this, or a church or a club like the Rainbow Project or whatever, you get this thing of the tail wagging the dog, and it's and that's not what it is. This is actually, it's your club.
Yes,
your club on the right side of the screen. It's your club, and we just are here to facilitate whatever happens. We can't dictate to you, the topic of the week is going to be. We can put suggestions in, but as we found, if we try to steer in a conversation in a way that you guys or Spirit don't want it to go, it won't happen.
It won't.
It won't happen. I know, Michael, I keep lagging a little bit. Nick keeps, like, his mouth's moving, and then the words come out later.
You're not the first to say that, mate.
But no, you can get into that situation where the tail wags the dog, and you can't do that. And whilst I would always say it's a church or Spiritline or whatever, it is the congregation's church. It's the congregation as a whole. It's church. And whilst in positions like ours, there's no place for ego, the same goes for the congregation. It's a congregation as a whole, and they've all got to be singing from the same hymn book, to pardon the pun. But it has, very much so. We never know what the conversations are going to be about.
This is it, because we take our lead from everyone online watching and taking part and getting engaged. You know, when we first did a Spiritline, it was before we actually started doing the continuing series of Spiritline. There was one standalone. Mum says, and I agree. I like to call it family.
Absolutely.
And it really, really is. But I remember the first one we did of these really, really long time ago. We had to lead the conversation because people weren't talking.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why it didn't continue.
Yeah, we were trying too hard, I feel, because we would have about 6 or 7 topics that we picked out through the week, because we were doing a deep dive of the news, and we would pick quite a few out. And I think we were trying too hard to keep it on track and restricting the flow of conversation.
Absolutely.
But here we go. It's starting, Nick.
Before we jump into that one, I will start it just in case the conversation gets away with us. Hello to Shelley. We have been talking about you. Her new nightie is on the way. She did say she'd wear it as a nightie.
She did. And I did say, oh, please, you don't want us on your chest of a night.
I'm going to say one on each side.
Yes.
I had to think about how I worded that. But yes, we've both got our heads on one side of you and one on the other.
Resting our heads on your chest.
Keeping you warm at night.
Yeah.
Yes, looking out at the world.
I will pick up on that. Jen, I've heard people who have been going through courses and certification to work with Spirit, who's like, your message must be no longer than 5 minutes, and you must be, and don't go to the recipient if you've already been to them, and blah, 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 blah. well, then you are limiting spirit and you are limiting communication, in my humble opinion, because if a person needs a 10-minute message, they need a 10-minute message, that end of, full stop. I can see like we were in a pub on Monday doing a demonstration of mediumship. People are paying money to be in there and you need to get around as many as possible, but you've still got to give a full, complete message. And you can't, there's no way to restrict spirit, in my opinion, because if you start saying, I will only deliver a message that is year long and I must give 5 points of evidence and 3 points in the message and leave with 3 gifts at the end. No, not how it works. Not how it works at all. And if you go through this regurgitative process of everybody being trained in the same way to deliver the same messages in the same pattern, I wouldn't want to go to those churches or centres or whatevers. I wouldn't, because it'll be so boring and repetitive. And that's just my 2 penneth worth. I'm sorry, and that's how I feel about it.
Well, you'll be pleased to know one of the reasons that Jen asked this. We were actually discussing this at Circle on Wednesday, and you've pretty much, virtually in some cases, word for word, explained my opinion on it too. And what I will go as far as to add to that, it doesn't create a situation where people feel like any question is silly. Thank you for that, Kaz.
Yeah,
it means a lot. But
it
that
does.
attitude of restriction makes people feel that they've got silly questions, makes people feel that they can't ask questions, ask for help, ask for feedback, ask for guidance. That's what we're bloody here for.
Exactly. And the only silly question, there are silly questions, I'm sorry, are the ones you don't ask.
That's
because
I like that.
They are. Because if you're sat there thinking, oh, but how did Tony know that? And how did Nick know to say that? If you don't ask, if it's popped into your head, it's popped into somebody else's head as well. So,
Yes.
you're not the only one thinking it. Ask away. Ask away.
Absolutely.
For me.
Just to back you up, Dawny has just said, I find if spirit wants to get a message across, they don't give up until they have. Too right. How many times have we had to, add an extra 5 minutes on, or stop what we're doing and go and give that message?
Mm-hmm.
It's oi.
Yeah. Like, what's the Notto numbers? Now, Sharon, if we knew that, I wouldn't tell you.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? It's one of those questions that we always get that people seem to think no one's ever heard before. And yeah, that says it all.
Fabulous.
I believe empowering the skills of that individual, not creating little carbon copies. Absolutely. And in the words of Mario, true words as well. And
Facebook user.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. Jen, the reason Jenna says, I have just been informed that a degree is being developed for mediumship. I don't agree at all. Some old mediums in our area were illiterate coal miners and they gave fabulous messages. I agree with you, Tony. Too much man-made control. Blooming here. And you know what?
How do you get a degree in mediumship?
I know.
I mean, I sat the other day and mediums weren't with me at all. Spirit was really with me, and I planned out a rough guide of what I think podcast schedule would look like.
Yes.
But to sit and write a course, I've done a 6-8 week development course before and written that out, but to call it a degree, oh please. And for another thing, how would you teach clairvoyance to somebody who hasn't got the voyance?
Yeah.
Oh, can you see the gentleman walking through the door? No, you failed. Well, not my fault. They don't work with me like that.
Yeah, and this is it. I mean, I'd like to pick up on the point you made about the generic carbon copies, because this is something that I try so hard to do. When I'm working with a group, certainly, especially when I'm working with a group of people developing mediumship, I look at how they speak. I look at how they act. To an extent, I hone in on how they think as much as I can.
Mm.
And then my job as the circle leader is to build upon that character, build upon that personality, in
Mm.
order to create a presence, a personality that will help them become a new media, if that's what they want to do with it. If they don't want to, that's fine too. But help them become something different on the platform, something new on the platform, by empowering that personality, by growing and increasing that personality, because spirit prove who they are through the construction of evidence to demonstrate that personality. And if you've got no personality at all because it's been beaten out of you because a piece of paper said to, you're not going to understand what personality is. You're not going to
No.
be able to. I mean, I was told, in the very recent hours, that one of the pieces of advice that is given is do not move your hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be screwed.
And me.
Honestly, I'd be, I gesticulate everywhere, and that's before I even get on the platform.
Excuse me? You do what?
Gesticulate, Doug.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say.
It is to give gesture. To give
Yes.
gesture.
Yeah. Exactly. You've got to work within your own abilities and within your own gifts, and yeah, it's just, for me, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm sorry, I was asked to do one of the courses. No, I don't need a piece of paper to tell me I can work on a platform.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. No. This is it.
But no, and thank you, Linda, for the lottery numbers. I'll go and put them on
Right.
after this.
Everybody get ready. Here comes tonight's lottery numbers. Drum roll, please. 21, 16, 5, 20, 3, 8.
There you go.
Yeah, there are 6 there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just double check. But yeah, I agree with Jen there that spirit are in charge. Now I'm gonna pick up on I have flagged someone, but I'm gonna just very briefly pick up on what Mario said. I think you've got to be born with it. Yes, I agree to an extent that everyone's born with it. It's just that life gets it driven out of us.
Yes.
And we are programmed for it not to be so. So it depends on how you deem that born with it level. But certainly the situation you are in and where you grow up and the social environment in which
Yeah.
you live will have a great impact on whether you are aware of it,
Yeah.
develop it, grow it, or you reject it and shut it away. So, it's bye, Tony. It's a bit of a one and the other situation, chicken and egg, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I totally agree with you. It's got to be inside you at the very, very least. And for some people, it won't be because they're just never going to accept that it exists. Never going to accept it. And I think that's a shame because it is such a beautiful experience. And I've not seen a single person yet who has not enjoyed, felt better, grown, increased in measure for communicating with the world of spirit. And for some, it comes easier than others. Um, whilst we are waiting for the Reverend to come back, I'm just going to answer Sharon Calladine. Go back to this one. 21, 16, 5, 20, 3, 8, and the bonus ball will be 47. Uh, Sorry, couldn't help but get that one in. But yeah, I totally agree where you're coming from, Mario. Your upbringing and who you are as a person definitely has a lot to say about that. Can we just make sure that it's not Tony that's gone and that you can still hear me? Uh, Someone's just commented. Thank you, Mario. Yes. So I am still online. I'm sure Tony will be back shortly. In actual fact, that might be a message from him. Bear with me. This is not me being naughty and watching it. He's trying to get on. Bless him. He will be back. Um, Bless you, Kaz. I don't entirely believe that because there's more to you than you realize, and I think that's one thing that spiritualism should be able to demonstrate to people is that they are stronger than they think they are. I'm sure it's been a facilitator and I'm sure it's been a help. I know it has. I've seen your growth and development as an individual. But I think it's important to know that all of you have it within you to grow, to build. Spiritualism is as much a trigger for your life to improve, grow, and help, as you lovely people are for me and Tony. And I think that's essential. Give yourself some credit, actually, because Dawny, the similar theme. I'd be lost if it wasn't for spiritualism. It has changed my way of thinking about life. I've always had an interest, but things in your life change and changing your views. Absolutely. But once again, remember that you are the ones that have taken that step, made that conscious decision to grow, to develop, to express that interest in action rather than curiosity. And that then falls into what Tony said, the only silly questions are the ones that you don't ask. So as much as I agree with you to a point that spiritualism has been of benefit, has been for me, it is about the community and it is about yourself. And that sense of belonging without isolating others, which is, where we kind of started. So it will be of a benefit and it will be of help, but never undersell yourselves for the strength of character that you have. Maka, hello. Um, I believe because I've been jumping about whilst I'm on my own. I believe you're referring to the conversation we were having about ruling over people. I've had that a lot. Some places seem to have fallen habit to being that critical of the medium that everyone can leave uplifted. This is the thing. If one person starts, others join in. So there is always a danger of community, I suppose. But I think in the right hands, and those hands are everybody's equal, um, such things can be avoided. Problems can be avoided. Um, that is why it's called development. Um, oh, very well. And you do. You just help them develop, not teach. I know who that is because I recognize that phrase. Thank you, Eunice. Thank you, Eunice. But this is the thing, we have discussed this before, me and Eunice, and she says it's about helping people to develop, not preaching or teaching. And that is the thing. It's about, as I was saying earlier, about bringing people out of their own self. Um, it's about bringing people out of their, not their comfort zone, but out of their shadow of all of the stuff that people have dumped on you. I am just going to check the phone because it has buzzed again, and it might well be Mr. T reaching out. No, no, it isn't. I'll leave that alone then. Um, this is the longest he's left me on my own for a while. This is quite exciting. Um, Tony's gone to put the lottery numbers on. You may well be right. I know they are having massive issues with the internet at the moment, so I'm sure they will be back. Shelley says it's not just spiritualism; the people are a big part of it too, and I think the people are the main part of it. Certainly, I speak. I speak with so many people from different ways of life, opinions, feelings, thoughts, attitudes, and I've never met someone that I can't get on with. You know, for example, I will reference back to Eunice because I recognise that phrase. Um, we don't actually agree on everything, and certainly our ways of working are very different. But the things that matter, we do agree on. Being nice to each other, being supportive to each other, helping people grow rather than trying to dish out carbon copies of one thing or another. It really makes the way of life irrelevant if we take the personality out of it. So you've got to be yourselves. Um, Fiona says it was only the death of a very close loved one that made me interested in spiritualism, and it's the best thing for me to help me move forward in my life. And you know what? That is how so many uh, of us come into this way of life. It was for me. I was aware that I'd seen and heard things in my youth, but it wasn't the main reason for going to see a medium. I was just curious. And I have to agree with Mum there. Eunice is an earth angel. See, I'm very proud of my mother because she is getting the lingo. She really, really is. And yeah, Kaz agrees with you too. There's always that one person that we can't bear to be without. And to think that they might not exist anymore is soul destroying. Some people cope with it in other ways. And there's I've got to say it, there's a lot to be said for the atheistic view that live each moment as though it's your last. Spiritualism also teaches us that because there'll never be an experience like this again. So that side of the atheistic view is absolutely accurate and absolutely true. And spirit would be the first to remind us that you'll never get to have that physical touch again. It's unique, it's different. Yes, there are other ways of connecting when you are in the world of spirit, but this is so special. Enjoy it, make the most of it. So when we lose that one person that we can't bear to think they're not there in anymore, if a medium can give you that solid evidence, that absolute proof, that wonderful connection, then it is life changing, absolutely life changing. Thank you for that point, ladies. Here he is. Yes, Tim. We are reaching across the globe today. We have Tim is in Austria running a seminar. Um, run. I am run. I keep seeing the word late, and I don't know why I keep seeing it. Maybe it's my guide suggesting that you keep an eye on the time because you don't want to be late for something, or maybe you might run late later on. Who knows? Might be spirit, or it might just be me losing the plot. But yeah, nice to see you, Tim. Um, it does help you. Without mediums, I would have gone under. Once again, I think you're underselling your own strength. You're underselling your own strength, but it really does help. It really, really does help. I think it's important to empower people. And if everyone has the potential and is born with that gift of mediumship, if it's something you want to develop, just get on and develop it. Find someone you trust, find someone that you have confidence in, find someone that you're comfortable with, who you don't mind, making a fool of yourself in front of, or asking those questions that you don't necessarily feel brave enough to ask others. Find someone like that and fly. Just go for it. And I think that's essential. Other than what Kaz has just suggested, he's gone to raid all of my money on Monopoly. I think there's none left. I haven't been there a couple of days, and I know you and Shelley and others have been having a whale of time um, at my expense. Um, Bless you. So yeah, find someone who you get. Find someone who gets you. When it comes to development of mediumship, you have to be comfortable. The reason we do meditation is to relax the mind and the body. Um, when you can do that, the spirit connection comes easier. So, those that you work with, those that are in circle, those that are leading that circle, you have to feel comfortable. It has to be a safe space. And that's really, really important. And what really, really pleases me is the lists of people saying they found the right place. And no, it's not just people that sit in one of my circles. And I'm glad about that because I worry about people feeling connected and feeling linked with each other as much as with spirit because we cannot forget and we must not forget we are the living spirit. We are the living spirit, and we must come together in that. And I've just had another buzz, so I will just check and see if Tony's on his way back. Bless his cotton socks. Oh, da, 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 da. I thought that was from him. No, it's oh yeah, here we go. Um, oh, he's on the phone to Sky as we type. So he is trying to come back. Um, got question here. About meditation. Not being able to meditate at all lately. Why? It's exactly what I was just saying about being able to be relaxed and comfortable in the situation, in your own skin. It's about pushing away the negative thoughts and the troubles of the day. It's about making sure that you are able to relax and rest but not too much that you end up nodding off. I have nodded off in meditation numerous times. It is never good. It is never useful. It's relaxing and it's nice, but you miss out on all the good stuff. So whilst it's not going to cause you any problems, it just means you're going to miss out on the fun bits. In that sense, it's not good because you're missing out on all of the fun. So it's about finding that right balance. And oh, I love to do meditation. I love Reiki healing. Do you know what? I've had some limited experience of Reiki healing, and I love it too. It's not that different from spiritual healing because it's all part of the same source. It's like we've all gone to this massive big pond, all with our own jug, and we've scooped our own glass out of the jug. And this is my jug, this is my jug, this is my jug, this is my. It's all from the same place. It's how you use it. And so some will find Reiki healing easier than spiritual healing. Some will find this works better than that and the other because it's all about how it fits in with you. And it is not for someone like me or anyone else to tell you that the way you work is right or wrong. It's only what's best for you. So embrace the difference, be yourself, embrace that uniqueness, embrace your own personality, embrace your own strength, know the strength that you have within you, and fly with it. Make use of what it is that sits well with you because for example, I gesticulate as I made Tony scared because he didn't know what I was saying earlier. I gesticulate all over the place when my hands are flying all over the place, and sometimes it becomes part of the message because I start behaving like the individual coming through. For others, they feel much more comfortable being quite restricted. I know one medium who used to stand there with her hands like that, and do you know what? They did not move from start to finish of a service. And that was her, and that was her way of working. So, whilst I disagree with people being told what they can and cannot do with their own bodies, just because it works for one person doesn't mean to say it works for another, and vice versa. So, I would say to people, if you feel comfortable working that way, do it. If you don't, try something new, try something different, because we can't all be carbon copies of each other. Otherwise, what's the point of having a different medium each week? You know, one of the points of having a different medium each week, in churches and in centres, and in this way of life, is to see different ways of working, to be inspired by different kinds of messages, to see that evidence, to see that truth. Um, so, I don't know how I got into that conversation or where it was going, but I hope it's helped. I've learned I've learned to turn little put church off on the healing as I'm usually driving. Was very relaxed one time, not good whilst driving the A46. Absolutely right. So it may mean that energy that is being sent out to those in need, which many of the names on this list and in this group are always in my thoughts during the healing prayers, and because you're in the healing books that we have both here and in the hall, um, many of you, if not all of you, that will be coming to you. And so if you're hearing that music and linking in with that, you will be impacted by it. I know what my mum's thinking right now. I've got to tell you this story. It was a very, very long time ago. I went to Stansted Hall, um, and I bought a CD, and it was called The Ultimate Om. Now, it is available to stream. It's still out there. There we go. She's beat me to the punchline. I decided that it'd be a good idea to have a listen to this Ultimate Om. I can't remember the exact details. I'm not being precise, so please don't jump on me if I get the details exactly right. But from memory, the ultimate Om was a number of monks all chanting Om at the same frequency at which would sound like if you could hear the earth turning or something quite like that. Beautiful, beautiful CD. I decided to have a listen on the way home. Dad was poo-pooing it as he used to, and yet he started drifting off, and he was driving. So yes, very good point, Shelley. Be careful where you are when you are doing this work, even if it's just cursory listening in, because as everyone has been saying throughout the whole thing, spirit want to get to you. They will, and they certainly got me dad that day. Um, I was waiting for Tony to come back, but as it's on the phone job, I'm going to forge ahead because I have a question here. Kaz says, the question I asked a few weeks ago about is it your religion, about being scared about dying, or a personal opinion? I didn't realize how much of an important question it actually was. I listened to that episode many times, especially. It was a beautiful episode and helped so many people. It's those kinds of questions that we don't realize what have the biggest impact. Really, really is, I remember it myself. It was an amazing experience to see all of the comments and all of the conversations coming up, and all of the growth of understanding, because that's what we're here for. Spiritualism is a combination of three important functions: mediumship, healing, and philosophy. In order for it to be effective, it must include all three in some way. Receiving that really important message is healing. They will give you some information and guidance, and it will change your philosophy on life, because you will know that there is eternal life because of that absolute impacting evidence. Healing is a form of mediumship. It is a transference of energy and information from spirit to spirit. For anyone who's done the healing course with a certain organization will have heard that once or twice if you had the same tutor as me. Les, lovely guy, and I will never forget that. From spirit, through spirit, to spirit. And it's absolutely true. It's that transference of information and energy. And it's the same with healing, because the healer will be aware of where to go, what to do, who to help. And again, it will impact on that philosophical understanding of how the universe works. And when it comes to philosophy, It is channeling information and guidance. It's our job to channel information and guidance from spirit on your behalf for the questions you want to ask. And so it's essential, really. Christine has just said, well, actually, she said it around about 7 minutes ago. So apologies. My connection with spirit are always strong as I see them fully as I do the living, and I feel that gives me a better connection and evidence. Can do. It can do. But think about this. What affects you the most in life? Emotion. So make use of that too, and it will be blinding, I promise you. Emotion has just as much tangible strength um, as physical sight and sound. Um, for example, and I get where you're coming from, though, I will be honest with you. Um, because when I'm working, sometimes I start behaving like the person who's coming through, and people are sitting there and they look at me really funny, and I realize that I'm doing something different. It's an extra piece of information from them. So if you can relay those things in detail, absolutely brilliant. But never underestimate the power of emotional connections, because that really is what keeps the world going. But great. I wish I could. I don't see them as clearly as the living, so you're one up on me. But keep those comments and questions coming in because I'm sure Tony will be back eventually. Um, wherever I start, I do star them as I go along so I don't get lest, lost. Thank you. So, um, is it true that if your loved ones see you upset on the earth plane, they won't come through as they see you're grieving over them? That's a really good one, actually. And I know Tony would have plenty to say about this. Bear with. Um, yes and no. It de- Once again, it's all about personality, and it does depend on the personality. If that person that you are grieving for sees you and thinks, if they're that kind of person that they say, better back off a minute, give them a chance, then absolutely. If there's someone who's in your face, jump down your throat, "Oh, come on, pull yourself together. I'm all right. I'm here." Then they would do that too. But they also then have to consider your feelings and your needs. And so that's where the ministering angels of light come in to again find that balance between what's right for the individual. Um, some of them will back away. I would say a huge chunk of them certainly would back away because we can see you in a different perspective now. So it's like, oh, I'll give them time. I'll give them time. But absolutely, if they are so stubborn that they would want to jump down you and say, "Come on, I'm all right, get over it," then they would be more forthcoming with a little bit of help from upstairs, saying, "Woo, pull it back a little bit, mate," because you have to grieve the physical. And there is always a risk with mediumship and spiritualism that you jump steps of grieving. We still have to grieve the physical. Sometimes we forget to do that if we're spiritualists because we jump straight to the spiritual. And then 2, 3, either weeks, months, or years later, that loss of the physical will hit you like a tram. So you have to be so careful. So again, it's all about balance. Um, so for the most part, I would say yes, it is to an extent true, but but it is about finding that balance, and it will be slightly different depending on each person. But the importance of grieving the physical loss is essential, and so that is why often spirit will intervene and slow down that process, even for those that are deeply spiritual and deeply connected to the world of spirit, we still have to accept the physical loss. Now, as you grow in trust and strength with your spirit connections, the loss of the physical becomes less of a griefsome burden. You still miss the physical, but you get through that grief quicker. Um, but again, it's all about the individual, all about the personality that's involved. So I hope that answers your question. Dawny asks, or says, I don't know yet. I haven't fully read it. Spiritualism certainly makes you think about things you may not have thought about. Some of my most interesting discussions are with spirits. Don't argue with your higher self either. You can't win. No. The thing about the higher self when it comes to working with them in the way we do through guided meditation and tapping into that energy that is the bit of us that's stuck in the spirit world, for that leash that keeps us in check, is that it knows us all too well, and it knows the needs of the world of spirit and you all too well. And so it will be of great determination, courage, and strength. Um, I would say that there is a cause for thought that the stronger the higher self, the less we feel strong. But remember and be reminded that the higher self is simply a reflection of you. And so that strength is part of you and it is there to be tapped. So never underestimate yourself or your higher self. But yeah, you can have some really, really wild discussions with the world of spirit. I've had some right doozies. And I know some that have had even more freaky deaky stuff. It's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, don't argue with your higher self. Dawny learnt that one the other day. Hello, Susan Symes. How are you? Um, I think you have to pass that final acceptance stage, which is like you say, hits you like a brick. It became easier after that for me. I still have my moments, but they are not so long and severe. Absolutely. As the old saying goes, you never get over it, but you get better at managing it. And so, yeah, you do have to pass that final acceptance stage. When you do, things become more manageable. Um, even for people like us, and sometimes especially for people like us. There's an old saying, what's worse than being all alone in the dark, being all alone in a crowd? What's worse than your loved one being a million miles away and not being able to touch them, than being stood right next to you and not being able to touch them? It cuts both ways, just like Boadicea's carriage, as we say in the Fens. So yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. Jen, when my mum passed away, she was angry because she was young. Just check us out. Yeah, it was. When my mum passed away, she was angry because she was young and didn't want to die. She didn't come to me until I'd got her. She didn't come to round me until she'd got her head round it. Sorry, and after many years, she was able to explain her feelings about it. That was when I grieved because I'd locked it away. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that very personal information as well. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, absolutely. We have to consider the needs of the spirit person as well as our own. You know, it's important to understand that, yes, we're the ones left behind, but they're the ones whose whole existence has just changed irrevocably forever. They are the ones who are not able to have any kind of physical contact anymore with you. You know, at least you can remember the smells and the sounds, and of course, in memory they exist, but it's still just a memory to the world of spirit. And you know, you can walk past someone in the street and they're wearing the same perfume. It will be a physical reminder. Um, it's difficult. It is difficult, but we do have to consider the needs of the spirit person as well. And then roll that into it. Once they figure it out and come back to us, it all starts all over again because, like Jen said, she'd locked it away. It's absolutely right. It can feel like an ever decreasing circle as you go along. One last check because I think that might have been Tony again. Fingers crossed. No, it wasn't. So he's still fighting to come back. Bless his cotton socks. Um, Kaz says, I'm not there, Susan. I think mediumship came too soon for me after my Susan passed away. She passed the end of July, and my spiritual journey started in the September. Once again, swings and roundabouts. 6 eggs, half a dozen eggs. It is what it is. We are. It's a hard truth, but we are dealt the hand that we are dealt. It's what we do with it that counts. So maybe it came too soon. Maybe it didn't come soon enough. Maybe you are exactly the right person in the right place at the right time as who you are now. As hard as that sounds, because I know, and this I do know Kaz quite well now. I know you never had time to grieve for Suze, um, and it is why you are struggling. But you are a strong, independent, powerful woman, and you will get through it. And you have been getting gradually, slowly, surely better and better and better. And yes, it'll come in peaks and troughs. It'll be up and it'll be down. There's no doubt about that. But what I do know, and what I don't doubt entirely, is that when you are strong and when you are as comfortable with life as you can be, just think of the help and support you're going to be able to give to people. We learn by doing, and we learn by being told experiences and sharing experiences. I know that you are going to be an amazing exponent for spirit in whatever way you make use of it. But what I do know is that you will help so many people by sharing your truth, your story, your growth with them. And I also know that Susan will be able to help you with that. And that's a gift. But you're right, it is difficult. Is it too soon? Is it not too soon? It's a chicken and egg again, all over. Um, and that's Eunice. Tony says, "When the time is right, it will come, and you cannot stop it from personal experience." Yeah, absolutely. When it is the right time for that to come at you like a bull in a china shop, absolutely. Thank you, Eunice, and thank you, Tony. So yeah, it is. It is. You are the right person in the right place at the right time, and it never feels like it. God, it never feels like it. Trust me. Um, but think of the good you can do, the benefit you can provide, and think of the joy both you and Suze will be able to take in having been able to help people in that situation. It is an absolutely pure gift that will be of benefit to you and others. And I know that you are going to help a lot of people in spite of the struggles that you face today, yesterday, and the day before, and tomorrow and the day after. But you will still survive, you will succeed, and you will grow and continue to grow. And I know that you will make a huge difference to people's lives because of it. And if we can take one positive, one grain of positive out of a whole desert of disaster, then we have to. Otherwise, I think it would drive us absolutely blooming potty. Um, but there we are. I hope that helps eventually, Kaz. You are, as I've said before, and to so many of you, so much stronger than you give yourself credit for. You're all still here. You know, we were talking about joy at Littleport last night, and interestingly enough, joy came up in a one-to-one circle that I do on a Friday, and they hadn't seen the service last night because they were doing other things. Joy is the gift, and joy is part of hope, and there is always hope and there is always joy. We just have to sometimes work a little bit harder to find it. Um, Someone once said, "There's hope, but it's a slim hope." Well, the one thing that I know about life, and I'm sure many of you will agree, that we've never known hope when it wasn't on a diet. Um, Hope is always slim, but that's the whole point of hope. Hope is the thing that keeps us going when reason tells us there is no moving forward. Hope and faith and reason and science are like the shoes on your feet. You can travel further with both and you can just one. But you are always a source of joy and hope to others, even if not yourself. So take heart, take hope, and take some joy out of that and shine a little bit of light in the corner of your world where there is darkness, because light is presence and darkness is absence. Um, Bless you, Kaz. Um, Susan says, I have so many people say they admire my strength since my loss. I can't see it. I know I'm stronger, but I don't feel I deserve that much admiration. Usually, admiration is deserved when it is not required. If it's the other way round, there's probably a problem there. And certainly everyone else will see your strength. Do you know why? Because you're busy doing the work. It's like the old story of there's a bloke pushing his plough through a field, and he's whistling away to himself, he's daydreaming, he's pushing away, and he's just getting on with it. And before he knows it, he's at the other end of the field. So he turns around and he starts coming back, and again he goes off in his dream world and he gets on with it. And here we go. He's back at the other end of the field again. And this woman comes up to him and says, "Oh, farmer man," because I can't think of a name right now. He says, "Oh, farmer man, you're making short work of that." And he says, there he goes, "Suppose I have. Really didn't think about it," because he was in the process of doing, while she was in the process of observing. We witness when we observe. We just get on with it when we're doing, and we don't always notice it. So you will never see your own strength because you're too busy working and fighting and growing and becoming stronger with every plough of the field. Oh, bless you. Susan says that I didn't think of it that way. We never do. I ain't heard of anyone who realizes at the time they are strong. It's only because other people tell us or after the event. Cool, blimey, yeah, I did get through that, didn't I? And life is like that. But I do know, um, as uh, as Eunice has pointed out to me on a number of occasions in the last couple of weeks, it's a lot easier when you've got people to help you do it. It's a lot easier. Let's face it, Mr. Farmer Man, who's yet to be named. I'll think of a name for him by the time I, write it down. Mr. Farmer Man, if he had some help pulling that plough, it'd go through even quicker. So don't be on your own either. Don't think that you've got to be strong and be on your own. And just because, yes, you are strong, you've got to be on your own. Problem shared is a problem at least lightened, if not halved. Um, And, one of the most important things about Spiritline, one of the, yeah, he is. Russell, Russell Sprout is still in the swamp. He is. Oh, he is. Um, yeah. You can do things more when you've got a community. And one of the things that I know Tony loves, and one of the things that I love about this community, is the engagement, the involvement, the support that we feel, but also see for each other in the comments. That is what makes it so wonderful. That's what makes it so great, and that what makes it so enjoyable. It's why we keep coming back every Friday. And I would hope that it's why you all keep coming back on Fridays, or if you've just joined us for the first time, you might decide to come back. Um, but the importance is communities increase our individual strength. Um, Facebook user, to whomever you are, hello. Whoever it was with the purple heart, I say hello. Let me know who you are. Um, Jen says, I think that after a huge loss, you just get through each day. Survival is the objective. You don't realize that you have coped until you're much farther down the road. Yeah, exactly. Like the farmer when he gets to the end of the field. Cool, blooming heck, he says, I've realized I've got there yet. Because you're just getting on with it. And you're absolutely right, Jen. Absolutely right. I'm just going to check and see if. Oh, hello, Joanne. You need to reintegrate your Facebook again with StreamYard. It is a pain, I know. We have lost Tony to the internet today, so apologies for that. Which is why I'm having to stop to breathe every so often. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But welcome to the party, Joe. You're welcome. Everybody's welcome. Farmer Giles, I think we can come up with something a bit more original than that. So, in actual fact, there we go, everyone. Original name for my farmer man for that story for when I write it down for all of the world to see one day in a meme or something. Uh, Farmer Starbucks, or shall we say Farmer Cappuccino? Uh, order an oat hot chocolate for me, Shelley. I'll be there in 5. But yeah, there we go. You're all very good at thinking of things. Think of a name for the farmer. The best one wins a prize. I'll have to think of what it will be and sort out how to get it to you. But oh, I know exactly what it would be and exactly how to get it to you. So best farmer wins a prize, and I'll do a vote thing on the group page. Um, I hadn't considered that actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Um, oh, oh, look at the one-upmanship. Bravo to you. Those are two really, really good choices. So Farmer Kerry from Kerry Farmer and Farmer Brown from Joanne. Excellent, which is surely an obvious thing that I completely missed. Um, Once again, it goes to show, you miss the obvious. Like my name is Brown and Farmer Brown's are very well. No, you are not. Absolutely not. He will be back. I do know that he's got a new router and a bit of software and kit coming because it's been unstable. Oh, I do apologise. Yes, Joanne, it has worked. Well done. And I do apologise. Farmer Brown was Trace. Thank you, Trace. Um, and yeah, I should have noticed by the tone, really, because that does sound very Trace. I can hear you saying it now you've mentioned it. So yeah, we'll have a competition, get a few more suggestions in, and then on facebook.com/groups/2 Revs, we will name the farmer. Um, Jen says perhaps Kaz has an important role to come in life after the awful experience she has had. She may have gifts to help others that she didn't and hadn't even considered. I'm sure her loved one will be supporting her from the other side. Boom. Amen. Absolutely, yes. Completely agree. Completely agree. So for those that are we Kerry says we are always called the Farmer Giles clan. Yeah, yeah. You can imagine some of the names I get with my surname. Well, my entire name has caused some difficulty over the years, especially if you know of any former Labour politicians. I say no more. I won't go there. I haven't got Tony to keep me in check. But yes, for those of you that are joining us late and haven't heard already, Tony was with us. He's trying to get back with us, but he's having some internet issues. So it may well be that he doesn't make it back this week, but next week we will return to the format of 2. That's 2 Revs. Because I am not unstitching Tony's face off that T-shirt, that's for sure. Um, I for those that haven't that came on late and haven't heard, here we go. If you haven't seen them yet, the two Revs t-shirts are live on the internet, and I will share a link to Suffolk Insignia. Thank you very much. Where you can get a lovely t-shirt with mine and Tony's mugs on it. Lovely, lovely, lovely quality t-shirts, and they are very reasonably priced too. We're not getting anything from it. It's to support a local business. Suffolk Insignia being very close to where we are. So if you want one, you can either Google Suffolk Insignia and find their website, and there is a link at either the side if it's on phone or top of the page where it says Spiritline, or I will share the link again just after. Ah, Mr. Stapley. Hello, darling. Hope you're all right, Matt. Good to see you. And Kerry, yeah, I think they are cool. They are amazing. Oh, it's like what are they wearing on the news? I've finally given. I've broken the fourth wall, haven't I? You've now seen that smart from the waist up, untidy and lazy from the waist down. Um, Not too bad, young man. Thank you very much. Although I'm just giving away all of the trade secrets of Spiritline, the two Revs. That most of the time we're in tracky bottoms, and probably half the time we're wearing nothing at all. Um, did I just say that? Well, we've got to have a bit of a giggle. Um, it is. I'm in my bedroom at the end of the day. I'm going to be comfortable and relaxed. Um, but yeah, Kerry, they are amazing t-shirts. So if you feel I'd forgotten about that. If you feel like you want one and have a bit of a giggle and have your Spiritline t-shirt, I'll share the link on the Facebook page after. And yes, this is a very good point. At least it's not the tutu again. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. That was funny. I did enjoy that. The link will be on the page as soon as I finish. It is already on there. I have shared a link to it on the Continue the Debate page, but I will share it again or bump it and pin it. I think it'd probably be best. But they are amazing quality t-shirts, and it's good fun. It's good fun. Um, Sunday on the top and Friday night on the it's all descending. It sounds like Shelley's actually buying a coffee from where Tony was working, because their internet is shocking too. Um, ooh, yeah, that can be taken many ways. Well, my lovelies, it is fast approaching 17:15. Um, Thank you all so much for wonderful conversations. I'm so sorry that Tony couldn't remain with us the whole way through. He is getting his internet fixed. But hey, anyone who's been watching the church services on a Thursday the last few weeks and haven't been able to will know that the internet is rough and rollicking. So it is in the process of being fixed. We managed to get it working on Thursday, but it wasn't a good enough fix. That will be cured come tomorrow. So next week, the internet for the church services absolutely spot on pucker fine, please God. Um, and yeah, absolutely. Thank you all for a wonderful. I'm sorry that poor Matt and Joanne, bless them, they've only just kind of more or less arrived, and I'm sodding off now, which is a shame. But I do know that we have got to get you on here, Matthew. We want you. We want you on here. Um, so you will see it from the start at least one week because you'll be on it. Remind me, send me a message, and we'll get it hooked up. We'll pick a date and go with it because I know that everyone will love to hear from you as well. And it'll be nice to have different voices from time to time, every now and again, added into the mix. And I know your voice will be very worthwhile listening to. As many of my colleagues who heard your voice recordings would say so too. Thank you all for the kind comments. Jen, you did not monopolize it a bit. It was a very worthwhile subject and a really interesting comment, and really important to discuss. Thank you all for your kindness and support. Thank you all for your upliftment, your love, and certainly thank you for keeping me going this last 45 minutes or so, when it's just been us. Because I haven't been on my own really. I've had my friends and family to play with, and that's you. So, from the Chateau del Nick, Le Boudoir del Brown. Thank you all. God bless you all. So it's good night from him, wherever he may be, and it's good night from me. And until next week, see you soon. God bless, and may the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. Good night.